Alright guys, we're back for another popcorn pilgrimage, and this time I'd like to welcome you to the Parkway Drive-In Theater. This is our local drive-in movies that we have here in the Maryville, Tennessee area. And I hope you guys can hear me. It's a little bit loud here out in front of the big marquee here, but we're back in drive-in season, and we're here for the new premiere of the newest Guardians of the Galaxy movie. We haven't talked a lot about Marvel in our discussions and talks yet, but we're here for the premiere. Everybody's out. Should be a great time.
All right, we're through the gate. We've paid our admission. Got Jack behind the wheel.
One thing about the drive-ins is the admission is quite a bit cheaper than it is at a regular theater. It's just $8 to get in instead of the price tag of, you can't get into the regular movies for less than $15 hardly these days. So it really is awesome to get to come out and see movies on the cheap and out under the stars here. So
always great.
Always a wonderful experience.
Let's see if we can find us a parking spot along here somewhere.
I'm thinking that right up here is what we want.
Here's some people getting into the spirit of things.
They are, yep.
All right. And there it is, that big screen. In fact, only the IMAX theaters have a bigger screen these days, but the drive-in was always the king of big screens back in the day. And we found our spot, and there's the snack bar out in the distance. All-American experience, the drive-in movie. And here's Jack.
Doesn't get much more all-American than this, guys.
The drive-in is so amazing because it's got all the qualities of a picnic, a party, a ball game, cookout, all the rest of it. Always a lot
great
of
food, great fun.
Yeah, and we'll give you a little tour of the place.
For sure.
Americans don't spend much time outdoors anymore, not out sitting quietly under the stars, which is where a lot of myths were born anyway. So
absolutely.
Drive-ins always had a way of reintroducing you to the sky, to the stars, the weather, the sunset. All of that is a fantastic start, especially for a science fiction movie.
Absolutely.
Something with a fantastic element. Let's go down and see what these kids are doing. Waiting for that magic gateway to come alive. Yeah, and there it stands, a monolith, like in 2001, waiting to reveal the truths of myth and metaphor. Jack, I think you may remember where we were last summer. We visited Shankweiler's in Orfield, Pennsylvania.
We sure did. Shankweiler's Drive-In opened in 1933.
That's cool, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's for all of you film buffs out there, you might remember that's the year that the original King Kong came out.
Imagine going to the drive-in for King Kong.
Absolutely.
When it first came out.
Just incredible. It's hard to imagine to think that it went back that far, but we're almost 100 years that drive-ins have been around, a full century, so.
Awesome.
Hard to believe it's been that long, but time flies when you're having fun at the movies.
Of course, the drive-ins always like to emphasize their connection to the 50s these days. I guess people think that that was the golden age of the drive-in movie, which I suppose it was. I had a good friend back in the day who told me he's a little older than me, and he told great stories about going to the drive-in in the 50s with his parents and seeing some of the great science fiction movies of that day. Day the Earth Stood Still and Forbidden Planet, stuff like that, all the really great ones. And of course the drive-in, he talks about looking out the window on the way home at the stars overhead, and the movies had cast a spell. So one of the great things that drive-in movies are good for. And here's where the magic happens, inside the snack bar. Here it is, the popcorn, for which the cathedral is named. Traditional favorite of moviegoers everywhere. In fact, almost a sacrament here at the drive-in.
Sometimes you go to the drive-in and a car show breaks out.
That was good.
Well, Jack, it looks like it's still going to be a little while before it gets dark enough to show the movie. Would you maybe like to step over to the sidelines for a while? And I think there's some picnic tables over there. We can speculate a little about Guardians 3.
Yeah, let's go over here and chill for a bit.
All right, there we got the camera hooked up so our friends can join us. And let's just chill for a little while.
Yeah.
Hey, it occurred to me that you and I have got quite a history with superhero movies at the drive-in.
We sure do.
You ever-
Yeah, we got to see.
You ever think about it? 3 of the top candidates for best superhero movie of all time we saw at a drive-in.
Yeah, the first one would be Spider-Man 2, Tobey's
Right.
first movie back in 2004.
Not his first movie, second.
Second movie.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
should
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And got to be generally recognized as
The second movie of the first Spider-Man.
That's right. Yeah. That's got to be generally recognized as one of the great superhero
That's awesome.
movies.
I love
It's,
Spider-Man 2. It's great.
the writing is so good. And Alvin Sargent, the screenwriter, I mean, he wrote some
Yep.
terrific stuff. Academy
Sure
Award
did.
winning stuff like Ordinary People and things like that.
Yeah.
Which is why the dramatic parts of it are
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's no longer with us anymore, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
But
What else do you? What else am I thinking of? The top 3
well,
candidates for the top superhero movie.
the other one is also the same year. It's The Incredibles. The original Incredibles is
Good
maybe
job.
that's a hot take. I don't know.
Good
It's
job.
we think really highly of The Incredibles. I think
a lot of people love The Incredibles.
I do. I love it. I think it's incredible. I guess we get into the subject at hand then. That'd be Guardians 3.
Yeah, what are we hoping for, expecting from Guardians 3?
Right. I don't know, to be honest. I'm
I
really
know-
not sure what to think going in.
I know that the second one was a letdown for you.
Yeah, I think so. It was, I'm not sure if that's fair exactly. It's, I always kind of seem to notice a bit of an anti-religious sort of undertones in the movie. It's, maybe that's not fair. It's hard to, not a fair criticism of it as a film, perhaps, but it's just hard not to have a dog in that fight
Well, yeah,
and
I mean, it's
not
one of
feel
the-
that way about it as a believer.
It seems like that there are, most Marvel movies don't have much to say about spiritual or faith or religious issues at all, but some of them
Some
actually
of them definitely do. MCU movies,
Yeah.
in particular. But
With you mentioned Alvin Sargent, the screenwriter. I mean, we know that he was a Christian, and his
absolutely,
and it's hard to miss it in the Spider-Man movies. You've got the
yeah. I mean, the train. He's literally
the PA
defending
talk,
everyone.
yeah,
with
and then
his,
and then afterwards the descent
Yeah.
from the cross, where all
Yeah,
of his friends
yeah,
take his
yeah.
body down and venerate it.
Yeah,
it's
great,
hard to miss.
yeah.
And
doesn't get much more explicit than
right,
that, I guess.
and then of course in Spider-Man 3, when he finally casts out the venomy goo that's got hold
Yeah.
of him, first thing he does is go take a shower. So
Yeah.
there's baptismal
Regeneration,
right?
yeah,
Baptismal symbolism there. While Eddie Brock, in the meantime, goes to a church,
Right.
and blasphemes the man who said, "Love your enemies,"
Yeah.
by praying for
Destroy my
asking
enemies.
Jesus to help him kill his enemies. So,
Yeah.
There's,
it's,
I don't think it's a stretch to say that we've discerned some Christian
yeah,
themes in
yeah.
the,
There's definitely Alvin Sargent and Sam Raimi too. I'd imagine had something to say with the Spider-Man movies back in the day.
That's
so
right, yeah.
definitely.
it seems to me that these movies kind of break down into, well, it seemed to me originally when I first thought about it that they break down into kind of Christian friendly and Christian hostile.
Yeah.
You know,
Some of them are pretty overtly religion friendly. I think of Doctor Strange and the first Thor as being pretty
pretty
obvious.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
the first
it's,
Thor, you've got
You
Kenneth
think you know
Branagh.
how the world works? You think this material universe is all there is?
That's right.
What is real? What mysteries lie beyond the reach of your senses? At the root of existence, mind and matter meet. thoughts shape reality. This universe is only one of an infinite number. Worlds without end. Some benevolent and life-giving, others filled with malice and hunger. Dark places where powers older than time lie ravenous and waiting.
Did you rehearse that?
Who are you in this vast multiverse, Mr. Strange? Yeah,
good job.
Doesn't get more on the nose than that.
Also, there's a deleted scene.
Yeah.
Really
in the
amazing.
first Doctor Strange.
The first Doctor Strange has a deleted scene where Caecilius comes into a church and kills a priest.
Sure, yeah. That book promises life and eternity and doesn't deliver about Luke's gospel and everything.
Yes, and whereas the priest...
Scott Derrickson and I can never remember the writers from Doctor Strange.
You're right.
I believe are Christians of some stripe, and don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but
well, it you don't have to be psychic to get that. He actually in that scene with the priest, Caecilius quotes to the priest St. Paul's word about
it's incredible.
The scene being more real than the unseen being more real than the seen. So it's perfect. It's
all things visible and invisible.
There you go. So you definitely want to put Doctor Strange in both spiritual or faith friendly, but also Christian friendly. I think. Sure.
Yeah.
And what else?
Scene is cut. Maybe they thought it made it too specifically Christian.
On the nose, I think is the term they use.
Yeah.
But what was the other one? You mentioned.
The original Thor, I think, is pretty Kenneth Branagh. So I mean, he's a.
Well, I don't know what Kenneth Branagh's faith is, if any, but he certainly has grown up in the tradition of English Christianity.
Sure, yeah.
Very familiar with Shakespeare, which of course, Shakespeare steeped, marinated in Christianity. So
Renaissance.
You would be hard. It'd be hard to well, actually, Reformation era. Shakespeare wrote during the English Reformation.
Yeah, he did.
So
he did.
But so that's all there. I mean, could you get more explicit? Thor gives up his life to save his friends, and it looks as if he's died, and then because he's worthy.
I don't know. However, I have offended you, brother. I'm sorry, but take me instead of them.
There you go.
Yeah.
He offers up his life and dies, it seems, to all intents and purposes, and then because he was worthy, he's raised again to new life, and of
worthy
course,
of the mighty Mjolnir.
And
after that,
and of course, Jane looks at him in a memorable cut and says, "Oh my God!" Which is both a got all kinds of double meanings, Thor's supposedly a god there already, but you could take it as in a bit more Christian way. But so yes,
there's
obviously great.
Meanings.
And then let's see, there was one more we thought about that's pretty Christian friendly.
The Whedon Avengers movie.
Yes, isn't that interesting?
It's a special case, I suppose.
Well, I would say that it's Christian friendly. Interestingly enough, you might think now Joss Whedon has made no secret of the fact that he's an atheist.
Sure.
Absolutely. He speaks about that pretty frequently.
Yeah.
And so you might think that he wouldn't be that he would. Let's just say that if Joss Whedon is an atheist, he's not the Village kind.
Sure.
For one thing, he knows the faith that he doesn't believe in.
Yeah.
You mentioned a little earlier in the day that great quote about the cathedral in
built equal
Kosovo,
on all
not
sides.
Kosovo. What's our
Sokovia?
Sokovia, our fake Eastern European.
I think it's in Sokovia. That's
right. There's a Greek Orthodox cathedral that the battle takes place in. What was the line? You quoted the line, or
all of the city is built. The church was built in the center of the city so that everyone could be equally close to God.
Right.
I like that. Ultron says.
Ultron is trying to be God. There's a Satan parallel.
There is definitely.
Avengers has a little of it too. I've known people like this. I have had good friends who were atheists, and they didn't like the Village atheist who just takes pot shots.
Sure.
They knew their adversary, their great and worthy opponent.
So
they were very well versed, and I think Joss is like that too. I know Joss has been in controversy, and I don't think we need to mention this every time his name comes up. I think he's, made a lot of mistakes, but I don't think.
Yeah, he's. I guess he's his own worst enemy.
Yeah, I think we avoid. That's right.
We all are in that sense, I guess.
I think we need to avoid, though, the cheap shot of that some of us sometimes might be tempted to do, of saying that he's given atheism a bad name these days.
Yeah, believers might be tempted to throw that in his face.
Yeah,
or the face of other non-believers. I mean, which isn't right.
People don't discredit their belief system by failing to live up to it.
Yeah.
They discredit themselves.
Yeah.
But whatever if your belief system is secular humanism and you don't live up to its ideals of equality and dignity for all people, men and women, et cetera,
Noble ideals.
then you fail to live up to your ideals, period.
Yeah.
And so whatever your belief is, Mormon or Catholic or whatever it is, if you have not lived up to your creed, it doesn't say anything about your creed. It says something about you. So, what about the Infinity War movies? Infinity War and Endgame.
Oh man.
Markus and
many thoughts
McFeely.
and opinions.
Markus and McFeely are Catholic.
Yeah.
I know that about them.
Yeah.
In fact, they got the job with Marvel because they had a previous gig with Disney writing the Chronicles of Narnia movies.
Yeah.
So that obviously.
Did they write the third one, Voyage of the Dawn Treader?
All three.
Too,
yeah,
right?
even though that one's not Disney.
I think Infinity War is the more successful of the two. I mean, I'm definitely a big fan of Infinity War, but Endgame I definitely feel drops the ball when it comes to the spiritual angle of Marvel and all that. It doesn't seem to be nearly as aware of
you've got
deeper themes and everything.
It's glaring by its absence. In other words, I would put those movies in the faith, not unfriendly, but faith unconscious quality. Not because I don't think Markus and McFeely wrote the story. I think we have to say that maybe the first one is a bit more thematically aware than the second one. But I mean, think about it. Thanos is a classic, from the Aristotelian point of view. Thanos in that story is a recapitulation of Prometheus and Icarus, Dr. Frankenstein, the man who dabbled in things that were meant to be left alone,
punished by the gods,
who created this experiment without reckoning upon God.
Right.
If you let's just say that in mythology, someone who gathers together ultimate power aspires to be omnipotent,
right?
Like God Himself. Gathers these
stones.
Never
able to hold that power.
No, and of course he doesn't, but they just kind of beat it out of him,
Yeah, he's just kind of a baddie in the second movie. The Infinity War Thanos, who is talking about, when I'm done, half of humanity will still be alive and everything and all of that. The interesting version from Infinity War just isn't.
Becomes kind of a snarling baddie in the second one.
He's not really a whole lot better than than Malekith or any of the other somewhat generic villains that have been in other
in the second one.
In the second movie. He's much better in Infinity War, I've always felt.
Mythologically speaking, the stones would have something to say about being treated the way they are.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of them as a stand-in for the gods or whatever,
call it the will of the force or whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
But these things that were present at the creation, whom there actually are
6 elemental crystals when the universe exploded into existence. You guys remember Benicio del Toro in the first Guardians talks about the 6 ones who came together, 6, the same as the 6 original Avengers, I always thought. They were going somewhere with that. But they were all able to hold the stones and wield them when one person couldn't do it alone. So it's kind of
even if you don't rise as high as Aristotle or mythology,
of course.
Think about the monkey's paw. Think about the monkey's paw, or think about the genie out of the bottle. The genie gives you your 3 wishes. But by the end, you realize you wish you hadn't had them. And that's the way the stones should be. The stones are not just going to passively, like a machine, do the bidding of whoever manages to get all 5 of them together.
There's no story.
There's going to be a monkey's paw.
Trying to use ultimate power with no consequence.
Well, what about Guardians now? We've got Guardians coming on here in a little while. It's getting pretty close to dark.
Yeah,
here.
Getting pretty close to showtime here.
We were let down by Guardians 2.
Let's start off with the first one. How do you feel about the first Guardians movie?
It's a riot. It's a laugh. It's just a lark. It's fun from start to finish.
Yeah.
It's got emotional family things in it, but nothing terribly deep.
Yeah.
But I think we participated, like many people did, with the feeling that that there was a little bit of hostility. Ego, the living planet.
Moving on to the second movie.
Yeah. Ego
might be. Is it Gamora who says, "So you're God"? Well, with a small G, Gamora, at least on the days that I'm feeling as humble as Drax.
That's good.
So this is after Drax has said, I too am extraordinarily humble, Dave Bautista.
This is the guy that's got the phenomenal memory.
Yeah,
Jack's phenomenal in our family for having a perfect memory.
Yeah,
but I don't think we're the only people who sense that Guardians 2 had a hostility. As we go to the heaven planet, we know egos are fraud in retrospect.
Yeah.
We go to the heaven planet, we get George Harrison's wonderful "My Sweet Lord" song,
and prayer song,
and it's being made fun of.
Yeah, it's being sneered at.
Yeah,
that's what it came across as. I don't know whether
all this religion stuff is great fun until you find out that the people running it are fraudsters.
Right.
That seems to be the message. So
that seems you might get that impression from watching it.
So this is why we're really interested in seeing the third one now and seeing if that's really all James Gunn's got to say on this, or whether there's another stone that still needs to turn here. So I guess we'll find out pretty soon.
We'll find out, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the movie will be fun. I'd be surprised if it isn't.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see whether they advance the arguments one way or another that we saw in Guardians 2. So.
We'll see. Very shortly.
Well, folks, I think probably it's about time for us to get back to the car, get our sound set up, and get started on that popcorn. So,
absolutely. Visit the snack bar for a minute here.
So we'll watch the movie, and we'll see you all a little later.
Guys, it looks like the movie's just about to get started, so we better jump back in the car here and just about showtime.
Okay, here it comes. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. I think this is probably the only part of the movie we can show you without getting dinged for copyright. So I guess that means we'll have to meet up again after the show. Oh, and it's always magical here at the end of the night. Here's the moon overhead. Perfect night. And everybody's had a wonderful time here at the Parkway Drive-In Theater. We hope you did too.
Okay guys, that's going to do it for another episode here. We've just seen the movie and we'll have more thoughts about it later. We enjoyed it and we'd like to, say a few words about it here at some point, but we'll get back for another video for that later. In the meantime, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that little bell notification to get notified when we post new videos. In the meantime, we'll see you next time on the Popcorn Cathedral.